Welcome to Talk Around Riyadh, the Wheel of Time showcast. I am your host, Joe Perry, here with my co-hosts, Jen Isgro and Tom Kokoza. Jen, how are you?
I'm good. Here again. Got some news to talk about, some exciting stuff. We'll see how we had to stop talking about Law and Order, but I am ready to switch gears to Wheel of Time.
Ooh, maybe we got to do a bonus episode with Wheel of Time characters as Law and Order characters, or whatever we do.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
Love it.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, how's it going, Joe?
I'm good. Glad you asked. How you doing?
Yeah. All right. Sorry I know we had a lot of scheduling confusion with this week's episode, so I appreciate you guys with all the last minute changes. Yeah, I don't know. Big weekend. Big weekend this
Super
weekend.
Bowl weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah, by the time this podcast come out, the Super Bowl will be over.
Who will win?
We don't even know. And we're from the future.
We're from the past.
Oh, yeah, we're from the past.
Right now. Yeah, we're from the past.
Wow.
What? What is that, Tom?
I wowed because Rao posted in chat that he knows someone who will be in an advertisement in the Super Bowl.
Who is it?
We'll have to guess. No, don't tell us. Don't tell us. We'll try and figure it out and come back next
how
week.
would we ever figure it out?
We have to
That's
guess
the fun
commercial.
and the entertainment of it, Jen.
We have to guess commercial, and then
Okay.
we'll see if we can figure.
So, before we get into the show, I just want to tease something. So we're going to be doing another giveaway, as we are wont to do every once in a while. And you will hear the details of how to participate and be entered into the giveaway at the end of this episode. So stay tuned and listen through. Thank you. So I did also want to call back last episode. We were talking about casting of some of the unconfirmed actors, and we were debating Lanfear versus Elida, which is the more appealing part for an actor. So like all mature people, we put it on Twitter and let Twitter Time decide the answer so the winner could gloat. And I will say, with the results, it was a close one. But coming in with 55% of the vote was Elida over Lanfear. So you know what that means. I'm right, and you're wrong, Jen.
Well, that's your opinion.
Because we all know Twitter is absolute.
This is everyone's opinion.
And there are no stupid people on the internet.
No, none.
No. Only wise, learned folk.
Yes. So just glad we could settle that and get that over with and move on with our lives.
So I'm going to actually also address something that we talked about on last week's episode.
But before we move on, Tom, who did you vote for?
I don't know if I voted in the Twitter poll.
Oh my God. What's your vote?
I think I was pretty clear that like I think Elida is a role that I would want to play more if I had the opportunity to play either of those roles.
Okay, fine.
I think that it is, to my mind, a more layered role. I think
Right.
I don't think that Lanfear is one note, but I do think she's two notes. And like that's pretty much it. So I don't know. I will say this. I don't think Elida has a scene that is as fun to play as Lanfear finding out about Avienda. That's probably gonna be like one of the most fun things in the whole
I don't.
Like you can see like Madeline Kahn playing her and doing her whole flames
Yeah.
on the side of my head.
side of my face.
I'm not like a Lanfear stan or anything. A stan fear.
I hate that.
Stan
I
fear?
hate that. I hate
But-
that phrase, or I hate that term,
Stan?
stan. Yes,
Why?
because Stan was a psycho killer. He was a
Yes.
psychotic person
Obsessive.
who killed somebody, and everyone uses that as like, oh, I stan them. Oh, you mean you're a psycho and you want to kill them? Is that what that means? No, it doesn't.
They're
but-
obsessed. But I do think that they have the opportunity in the show to make Lanfear deeper.
Oh yeah,
I think there's a lot to play with in her motivation. I know her motivation is Luz Theron, but there's a lot in her past the fact that she was the one who started the drilling.
Yeah, and
And
she's a bit unhinged,
like her whole
too,
relationship with him, right?
which
And
is
just
kind of
like,
fun, right? Actors like playing like
right.
unhinged people. She might be more
Yeah.
fun to play. If you were looking for a fun part and were like, I've done
Yes.
a lot of acting in my time. This part looks like something different, something fun. I could really, open up in this one. I would say yes. But if I was like a younger actor and I was like looking to get a nice meaty part, I would pick Elida.
All right.
Needy.
All right.
Okay, Tom, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's fine. So, last week we talked about Sarah Nakamura's tweet indicating that she was done with our role in the writers' room in season 3, and that probably indicates that the writers' room is done, which means that production might be starting, which bears repeating because that's awesome. In that tweet, she made mention, Jen, you called this out, because you weren't sure exactly, I think, what was being said, but you didn't like the tone of it, I think. So I'm going to quote again from the tweet. I was given the space to engage in a way where no one was worried about saying something out of pocket to the expert. I'd say big fan, and we could have true dialogue, right? So that's a segment of the thing where she's talking about how much she felt like she had a bigger role, I think, or a more open role in it. And none of us, I think, really knew what that meant, because I think all of us think of the phrase out of pocket meaning like I gotta pay for this right now with my money.
Oh, yeah.
So I was at work today, and one of my staff was leaving the office. They were letting me know about a situation that had happened, that I was telling them, like, hey, don't worry about it, like, we're taking care of this. And they mentioned that they just felt like it was out of pocket. And then they went, bye, boss. And I said, no, you can't leave. And I was like, I have to ask you a question. Now, this person thought, of course, that I was talking about whatever the work issue was, but I was like, what do you mean by out of pocket? Like, what? And I was like, look,
Finally.
It's a very long story that won't be interesting to you, but I need to understand what that means. And so it means like rude behavior, apparently, or like a bad attitude.
Like out of line, right? Like,
well, not, I guess. I was told, that's what I was told. Rude behavior or a bad attitude. So I guess out of line works with that. Right.
Okay.
So yeah.
Right.
so that's what's still weird, because it's like no one's afraid of saying. I don't know. I guess it means like they kind of felt like they were all on the same level. No one was afraid to like go up against her, I guess, on something.
Right. I think that's like, no one's afraid to like say like, hey, I appreciate that that's what's in the books, but like, this is what I'm trying to do here, or whatever the case may be. Or, or even, hey, I don't like that about the books, and that's why I'm trying to do this.
Yeah.
Who knows? But whatever it is, like, I get what she's saying now in a different way, because I think we thought this anyway, but I think reading it now, it's like, hey, like, they respect me as a person who can handle like hearing disagreement, and not just someone who is like, so, pardon me, tied into the books that I'm stuck in that rut or whatever.
Yeah, or also maybe they feel like they're all kind of more on the same level,
right,
rather than like this girl is just here to like, like she didn't have the experience they did in the field or something like that. So maybe like now she kind of feels like they're all kind of on the same level, so they could talk to each other. Maybe before they were being like more careful with like saying things to her. They didn't want to like hurt her feelings or something. Okay. Oh, there you go. I heard that part. It's like you're backstage getting like.
Welcome back to
shaking.
another edition of Where SWAT Origins. We're gonna have to test that music beforehand that you can hear.
Yeah,
'Cause
why?
everyone
It's so
else can hear it.
weird.
I don't know why.
Oh well.
Don't know why. Excuse me.
So it sounds like you're backstage doing like a quick change far away and you hear the music like playing and that's how it sounds to me. It's like really muffled and like far away.
Oh,
None
that's
of you
sad.
skip any lines, you motherfuckers.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. It's our favorite part of the episode where we talk for seconds and seconds about what Origins is or where it could be. Jen, any news, anything you've heard, any whispers about what Origins?
No whispers, no shouts, no screams,
No
nothing.
doubts?
Absolutely nothing. No, yeah, no doubt. There's not no what origins.
I was listening to No Doubt the other day, but it didn't seem like they knew anything.
Yeah, no, no, they didn't.
How about you, Tom? Any thoughts you want to share?
You know, Joe, there comes a time in every man's life when he must ponder the inevitability of his own demise. As I look into the grayness of my beard, I can only be forced to admit I do not know where What Origins is, nor when it will arrive.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay.
That was pretty deep.
No problem.
All right. Let's get into some news. They're like,
Just cut that out.
just cut it out. I don't hear anything. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like
Let me
anything
to talk
to
over
me.
the outro.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got some news to talk about today. We were going to talk about Kyrie today, but then we had some news. So we said, let's push Kyrie back. It's not like it's going anywhere. So we have a couple of pieces of news we want to talk about. The first one comes from Where Else But What series. That's got to be did we talk about doing a segment like that? Where Else But What series? That's got to be a segment too. Where Else But What series.com. They released an article announcing the return of Kieran Donnelly for season 3. So for those of you who remember, Kieran Donnelly directed episodes 7 and 8 of the first season. He's not going to be directing any episodes of the second season, but he's back. And I feel like I remember there was an interview with him or something where they might have asked him to come back, but he couldn't because of like other projects. I don't remember 100%. But I'd like to get your thoughts on this. How do you feel about Kieran Donnelly returning?
I'm excited about it. We definitely directed the greatest scene in the entire first season.
It's true.
Which is the blood snow.
But might
I'd
be
like-
the worst 2 episodes, though.
Yeah, but I'd like to see what he can do with time, health, money, whatever he
Yeah.
needs. Like no restrictions.
No actors.
And,
no
Right,
actors
nobody
leaving the
quitting
show.
halfway through the show and having to rewrite the whole thing. You think do you think that was like the 2 best cold opens? I was gonna say that, but no, just because Brendan likes the last one, but the Nynaeve cold open was probably like the second best cold open, right?
Yeah, I would say
I
I would
like
put-
the White
I would put
Cloak.
90 third.
The White Cloak.
Oh,
That's
I
not a
was gonna
cold.
say
That was a cold open?
Loghain's cold open.
Oh my
I
god,
think
we
it's-
should do an episode on this, guys. Ranking the cold opens.
I feel like someone
Yeah, I
just
think
did this recently.
Loghain's my
Oh,
second
maybe.
favorite.
Maybe they did.
Somebody just did this. I can't remember who it was.
All right, well, let's just do it right now.
Um,
I think Nynaeve. Nynaeve was. If we're taking the blood snow out of it entirely, because that's the best one.
I really like
obviously.
the White Cloak one a lot.
The White Cloak one was good too, but
The Little
I
Game
like
one
the
was
Nynaeve
good.
one. The
Can they
game one
just
was
do
okay.
every episode is just 60 minutes of cold open?
Just cold open. That has nothing to do with what's going on in the rest of the episode.
No, they all have to do
What's
with it. It's just all set up.
Is
Um,
the cold open for season 1? Is it Maureen getting dressed, or is it?
No, probably
there's,
Leanne.
there's no real cold open because they don't do the.
Oh, there's no credits.
Okay,
There's no cold open, but there's the
Yeah.
other one is Swan, was episode 6.
that's the. It's not bad. Don't get me wrong.
No, it's not
but
bad.
It's the worst one.
What's episode 5?
Is that the funeral at?
Oh, is
Oh,
that a
that's
cold
the
open?
worst.
The
That's the worst one. Sorry.
I don't know.
After the
It doesn't
battle.
reveal.
Nothing
It doesn't reveal-
happens.
But it's beautiful.
You think that's better than the Swan one?
No, I like
The
the
Swan
Swan.
one
I like Mr. Swan, as Jen referred to him as.
Mr. Swan.
No, Mr. Sanchez. Sorry, Mr. Sanchez.
That's his name, isn't it?
Yeah, it is Mr. Sanchez.
if you're nasty.
Mr. Sanchez.
Uh,
You're nasty. So it's episode 2.
That's
Episode 2 is
episode
the White
6.
Cloaks.
The
Episode
Swan
3
one
is
is episode
90.
6.
Episode 4 is Logain. Episode 5 is the funeral. 6
Yes.
is Swan. 7 is Blood Snow. 8 is the future.
Is the
The
Age of
past.
Legends.
Past.
All right.
Future past. Days of
Days
future
of
past.
Future Past. No, Days of Past Futures.
Mm-hmm.
So
Days of
what were
Past
we
that look
talking
like
about? Oh yeah,
futures.
Kieran Donnelly. Tom, how do you feel about his return to the Wheel of Time?
No, I think it's.
I don't even think
saying
Jen
much, and
finished
if
her
I
thought.
It's good. I'm excited about it.
if
No, I did.
had
I
to,
said it.
Okay.
But he's, I want to see
if
what
I
he
had to
did.
bet, I bet again he's taking on the last couple episodes of the season. I think that he is a director who has a lot of
Experience?
strength in doing action and combat kind of stuff,
Mhm.
and I imagine that between
Ooh.
between the
You think he's going to be Battle of
Two
the Two
Rivers.
Rivers, Jen?
Yes, that's
Battle
what
of
I
the
just
Two
thought
Rivers
about.
and-
The Battle
and
of Two
We're
Rivers.
going to talk about that in a
And-
little bit, so let's
and-
pause that part.
Rand probably having some sort of battle with Asmodean, which will
Mm.
also be happening in the last couple episodes of the show,
Yeah, possibly.
which
Could
will
this also be Aiel fighting? Could be Aiel fighting too.
It could be Aiel fighting, but not probably. I mean, I don't know where they're going to end up that part of the series.
They do
Right.
get attacked
Not in the last
by
episode, but like
Shadow Spawn while
right.
they're in
It
the
could be like
waste.
episode 7 or something. They get attacked by. You have that Shadow Spawn
Well,
attack.
we've also talked about the fact that they may advance the Aiel storyline past book 4 in this season, and like it
Yeah,
may
we
end
think
with
they
them
would-
crossing the Dragon Wall.
Yeah, I would assume that, right? They'd probably do the whole waste in one season, and then
Yeah.
they'd be coming back.
But I could see. I know we want to talk about this later, but I can see them doing like Rand Asmodean to counterplay against like an entire battle in the Two Rivers. Like
Oh,
so you don't have like
100%.
2 battles happening at the same time.
Yeah, I think
Well, you
exactly.
have possibly 3 battles happening at the same time because you're also going to have Nynaeve Moghedien probably
If
happening.
they go to
Well, that's not a-
Tenchika,
Yeah.
there's a that's another one-on-one, which is much cooler than the Rand Asmodean battle fight.
Yeah.
He's also I'm also excited that he's back. It'd be interesting to find out. I guess they haven't said what episodes he'll be directing yet, or maybe he doesn't know that. Maybe he just knows he's coming back, and then he'll be assigned episodes.
I'm sure he knows which episodes he's directing.
Oh, you think so?
Yes, they're done. I don't think he's just like, oh, I'm going to come out. Yeah, sure, whatever. Like, I'm sure he knows what episodes.
Oh,
he's
that's true.
directing.
Because we're going to talk about. We think the filming is going to start very soon. He's also on his resume. He's also listed as an executive producer of the show.
Mm.
So I just want to point out. Yeah, I was thinking that. Oh, wow, But then I thought, well, what's her face? Uda was an EP for the first season, and she only directed the first 2 episodes, and that was basically it. She didn't even come back. So, I don't even know if she's going to be credited as an executive producer for season 2.
Yeah, executive producer is sometimes just a gift credit. Not always, but sometimes just a gift credit that they give people to give them a little bit more prestige
hmm
A little
or
bit more say
cut of the show.
in the show,
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is some
No.
good news.
Sometimes it's not
Rosamund an
a title
executive
that has
producer?
responsibilities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? I'm saying sometimes it's not a title that comes with responsibilities.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just like, look, we can pay you this much, but you'll be an executive producer on the show too. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. I do think like Rosamund could just like part of her contract could have just been
Yes.
like, I'm also an executive producer.
Yes. That was
Okay.
probably part of the deal when,
Yeah.
when they signed her up for it.
Yeah.
She's like, I'll do it, but you got to give me an executive producer
Right.
credit.
Like,
maybe they
isn't everybody from like Red Eagle, aren't they also executive producers?
Right.
Like, I mean,
Yeah, a lot,
literally
like-
everyone.
Yeah, in movies when you see like there's like 50 executive producers.
Yeah.
It's like
Like
It's-
Billy Zane, isn't Billy Zane? No, I'm just kidding.
it's like a no-show job in the mob. that's,
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's the same equivalent. They also talked in here about some signs of season 3 production coming soon. You know, nobody has an exact date or anything like that. We talked about this last week where we think if the writing's done, they're going to be starting soon. Tom, you predicted as early as April, I believe.
Yes.
We're going to have some information coming up soon that supports your prediction. But just some signs
and is
that
therefore completely accurate.
yes,
Right.
just some signs that Watt Series pointed out that season 3 production will be coming soon is last month in January, the costume team went to India to shop for some fabrics and jewelry. And I feel like we heard about this a while ago, but I have a question for the both of you. Do you think they went to India for fabrics and jewelry because of like a shortage, you know, with logistics? I know there was like some materials have been hard to get and things like that. Or do you think they went to India because they're looking to take some of the cultural costuming from India and bring it into a specific group of people or person in the Wheel of Time?
I'm sorry, I just missed when you said when they went there. They're going there for season
January.
3?
Yeah, they went January.
Okay.
Last month.
I think if they went there, it's probably to gain like some experience of the culture too. Because otherwise they could have just like had it sent to them somehow. They didn't have to. I think I feel like when they go to other countries, it's to kind of like get a better sense of the culture. And also look around and for stuff that might be like not easily accessible online or whatever. But I would say, I'm trying to think of what culture though.
Yeah, what do you think?
So Jomani is the culture that I feel has the most kind of touches on there, but I don't think they're going to there.
It could just be for certain like characters.
Yeah, but I would say Tanchiko is probably what they're gonna try and yeah,
because they have the veils, so that's like kind of similar, right?
That's in Aradaman.
That's Tanchiko. Where they have the veils.
No, Taraban is what Tanchiko is.
Tanchiko is where they wear the veils, though.
Oh, it is? Why did I think it was in?
Yeah, but that's not Indian. That's more like Middle Eastern,
Persian. Or...
I think. I don't know.
Right. You're right.
But I think maybe they're changing it, right? Maybe they're pulling things in. They've done a lot of their own cross-referencing cultures for fashion and things of that nature. So maybe they're going to pull some stuff in and make their own unique mix.
Yeah, right. They've been doing that. They haven't been kind of just saying, okay, this is all one, equivalency of a culture here. They're kind of mixing things up a little bit together, kind of like Robert Jordan did.
Yeah, in the same manner, even if it's not the exact same match.
Yeah,
as Jordan has, he's in the same manner of kind of all the cultures got mixed together and then redistributed.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, right, if we're talking season 3, we're talking the Shadow Rising mostly. So you've got 3 main areas that the story takes place, right? You've got the Waste, you've got Tanchiko, and you've got the 2 rivers, right? Those are basically the main story, right? The biggest story points are in those areas.
The tower, right? Is there anything?
There's probably something going on in the tower.
There's a little bit in the tower, but not much, right?
Yeah, probably not much.
Yeah.
But I guess all the main characters, that basically covers where they're going to be, right? That's all of them. So it doesn't say. I can't imagine it being the Isle Waste, especially since they've already come up with costuming for that. We've seen it in season 1. We've also seen it in season 2. In the behind the scenes footage we've seen. The 2 rivers, we've already seen that. Although, right, when they go back to the 2 rivers, aren't there some like refugees coming in from over? So there's a little bit more culture coming in.
Yeah.
Right.
That's after, though, isn't it? Or is it before the battle?
It's a significant time after what happens, in the Great Hunt, but it's people who have come in from refugees of like the wars in Almoth Plain.
Yeah.
Right?
No, but
it's a lot of Domani influence, right?
Before the battle or after the battle?
It starts before, I think, right?
Okay.
There's fighting on Almoth Plain before the Shunjin arrive, right? Because that's where the White Cloaks are there to foment that.
No, I mean the
I mean, the
they
Battle of the Two
start coming
Rivers.
over before the Battle of the Two Rivers. When Perrin
Yes,
goes
when
back, there's
Perrin
already
comes back to the Two Rivers, it's already rebuilt and
Okay.
looks different.
Right,
And
okay.
there's tile roofs instead of thatched roofs and
Yeah.
all sorts of crazy stuff.
So then I guess that leaves Tanchico. If it's going to be like a big, they're going there. If they went to buy a lot of fabrics for a lot of costumes, then I would say Tenchico as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then the other piece of information was that there were, quote, casting calls for an Amazon/Sony production in Prague that have been posted online. So there's another tip that it sounds like they're going to be shooting very soon. So exciting
Awesome.
news.
Yes.
That means we'll start to maybe see some pictures online in a few months.
Very confusing about what seasons
Yes,
we're
you're gonna
talking
be seeing
about. Like, it's
season
incredibly
3
confusing.
season 3 set leaks when season 2 hasn't even come
Yeah.
out. That's the way they're
It's
doing
like
it.
Kieran Donnelly's coming back. Oh no, wait, there's a whole other season in the middle.
Yes.
And then him.
Friend
We'll
of
get
the
it.
show, an occasional co-host, Brendan Johnson, put something. I think he put it on Twitter that he really just hopes that season 2 is actually never released, and that the show just jumps to season 3, and everyone has to just figure out what happened to all these characters. And I'd hate that. I'd also love that.
Would they put of last season on Wheel of Time and then
then
show
just the
the
highlight
clips
reel.
from season
Highlight,
2?
yeah,
And
that we
that's all
did, yeah.
that's all you get to see.
Yeah.
Just gaslight everybody.
That's usually all you need.
Pretend they released it and no one saw it.
That's it.
Let's do it.
It came out right after What Origins, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duh. And the new 8 episodes of What Origins.
That's right.
10 episodes of What Origins. All right, I want to move on to our other piece of news. So this came from friend of the show, John from What Up. He released a new video. Oh God, was it today or yesterday? It was today, right?
I saw it today.
Yeah,
I think it was yesterday.
It
I
might
thought
have
it was
been
yesterday.
Oh, yesterday.
But I watched it today too.
It might have been last night. And I will use a phrase that he uses in the video. Take everything that we're about to say with a grain of salt. All right.
That's another phrase that, like, when he said it, I was like, what does that really mean? Like, I know what it means, but like, take it with a grain of salt. Like, the salt makes it better. Like, if it's wrong, I don't understand like what that actually means.
All right. Well, why doesn't Joe reveal that? And I'll look up the etymology
Tom,
of that.
you call whoever it was that you were talking to about the out of pocket and ask them.
All right.
Like, I know what it means,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
don't know
it's-
why.
where does it
you
come
say the grain of salt. Okay.
All right. So I will, even though he said take it with a grain of salt, I will quote some of the phrases he used. I won't quote him. Let's see. This is what I gathered. He said his confidence is high. It's from a source that worked on season 2 and will be working on season 3. And he said that other sources also corroborated this. And that is that Faile will be introduced in season 2. The one that they're going to skip. No, just kidding. So, I wrote down 2 questions and I forgot. There's a more important question before I get to those. Jen, how likely do you think that this is true? Or do you believe this to be true?
Okay. I don't think it's true, but if it is true, I think that she is in it, but not with Perrin.
I agree 100%.
Because of literally from the horse's mouth, we got Marcus's pure confusion at the idea of having a love interest at New York Comic Con. And I think that maybe we see her, but she's not in any scenes with Marcus, and he just doesn't know that that character is going to be his love interest.
I agree 100%, and you said everything I was going to say, Jen.
Okay, good. Done. Moving on.
Tom, grain of salt.
All right, so this is important, folks. The phrase grain of salt, no one knows apparently 100% where it comes from, but it's thought to be from Pliny the Elder.
Of course.
It's a Greek,
right?
he was a Greek, right?
He was a Greek I think
Yeah.
philosopher and writer. So the idea comes from the fact that food is more easily swallowed if taken with a small amount of salt.
Yeah.
Pliny the Elder translated an ancient text, which
Mm.
some had suggested was an antidote to poison, with the words "be taken fasting" plus a grain of salt. Right?
Yeah, sure.
It translates into modern English as such. After the defeat of the mighty monarch Mithridates, Gnaeus Pompeius found in his private cabinet a recipe for an antidote in his own handwriting.
Oh, I
It
remember
was to
this
the following
story.
effect: take 2 dried walnuts, 2 figs, and 20 leaves of rue. Pound them all together with the addition of a grain of salt.
What the fuck is going
The
on right
person
now?
I'm so glad I asked this question.
takes this mixture fasting, he will be proof against all poisons for that day. So basically, it's saying, hey, look, injurious things that can have bad effects of whatever is about to happen can be aided by taking a grain of salt, right? So
Thank you, Tom.
I may be wrong in me telling you this information. Here, take it with a grain of salt. That's the thought behind it. That's the origin as best as I can find in 35 seconds. As to
Okay.
John's report, I agree. I was thinking about this a lot, right? Because we were there. Joe, you asked the question. We all got to see firsthand Marcus's reaction, Rafe's answer to the question, all of that together. And I was like, oh, man, like Marcus is an actor. He could be a good enough actor to, I mean, I'm sure he is, if he anticipated a question like that
Yeah.
to prepare himself with a befuddled response.
Are you,
right?
I don't think so.
Tom, are you
But-
accusing me of feeding Marcus questions prior to the
No,
Comic-Con?
I'm not. I'm saying that if he was prepared for a question like that, and he's like, reveal nothing, and like, we're going to do this in case somebody asks this question, fine. Maybe.
No.
Rafe's not an actor.
Yeah.
I mean,
Where's the
And-
I need the meme of Charlie with Pepe Sylvia
Yeah.
and all the papers on the walls.
no,
right
my
now.
point is this, right? Like, so I was thinking about like, hey, could we have been misled by their response to this? And I think that there's a possibility that we could have been misled by Marcus. I don't think there's a possibility that we would have been misled by reading both Marcus and Rafe. I don't think that they both would have hidden their reaction to your question in such a way that we were misled by this. So I don't. And Rafe's answer was that would be happening in season 3. That I didn't go back and listen to
Yeah,
it. But
he
my
didn't say
understanding
that.
of that.
Yeah, he didn't say
That-
she's not going to be in this season, or she would be. She was be.
He said he doesn't know about that.
Yeah, but then he said, we'll be. He did mention like that would be a story that would be in season 3. That doesn't mean her character
Right.
won't appear in season
Right.
2. It's just that their
He doesn't know
romance-
about it.
The
There's
romance
no
wouldn't be until season 3.
I don't think there's any possible way that the character of Faile is introduced and is in scenes with Perrin that are not romantic, and it never came up on set that this is going to be his wife eventually. Like, there's just no way. So the only way that's possible is if she's on the show and filmed in a completely different location in scenes with other people, and he never knew about it because they were all separated.
Yeah.
There's just no way you're on a set with somebody and they're like, shh, don't tell Mark. Like, why? You would just say, this is going to be your wife in the next season. This is Faile. This is his character. There's no reason that wouldn't come up. So that's whatever.
I agree. 100%.
So I would say I need a fairly large grain of salt to now John is very confident. He's got his sources. He trusts his sources, and I trust John. So whatever. I'm not saying like he's wrong, but I'm saying that
A Canary trap.
I'm
Tom?
saying I was there, man, and I really believe that she's not in this season.
It's another Canary
and-
trap, Tom.
That was my thought. I have to say that was my thought.
If we find out,
I hope
find
not,
out that this
'cause that's not
person
cool.
does no longer work on the show, Canary trap.
Yes, that's true. If John,
Yeah,
you
as a
find
person
out
that will be working on season 3, maybe.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
but no, I think that. Now that being said, that it's hard for me to believe it. I wish that it is true because we've talked about this before. When that answer came out, how I harp on this all the time. I don't like to, like how potentially character damaging the decision for a parent to kill his wife is, and how all the things that I think are bad about that will get doubled down if he meets and marries another woman in one season.
Yeah,
Right?
we've had this
So,
conversation before, but
right.
I want to
So
know. I want to get
if
this.
he meets her in season 2 and then marries her in season 3, that's at least a little bit better.
That would have been fine. Like if they were just, but he doesn't know who she is, so it can't be.
All
Just
right,
can't
just
be. I'm sorry.
let's get past that part. If she was on, let's say she is, right? Let's say this is true,
Okay, fine.
because it's more fun to pretend that way. How do you think she'll be introduced and used?
Used.
Not used, used.
I don't know. Do you know, Tom?
You have thoughts, Tom?
I know. I'm thinking. I mean, she's a hunter for the horn when you first
Yeah.
meet her. I think you can still use that impetus for introducing the character. But if we're gonna go with Jen's edict of does not meet Perrin, does not interact with Perrin in the show, who does she interact with? Who does she meet? Why would she be around at the end to presumably then meet Perrin and go back with him to the Two Rivers, right? And the only thing I can think of is, and I think there might be some sort of something here, is I don't think that she, like, the Rand Moraine, land portion of things would not let her tag along. So I would think she's either got to be with the girls, which I don't know, it doesn't. I don't think she would be, or with Matt, who I think it's possible in the same way that she's like to Perrin, you look like somebody who's been mixed up in an adventure. She could also do that to Matt, and then there's the thing of like Matt actually blows the horn,
Mhm.
if she's there or she finds, if so that's what I would say. Somehow she meets up with Matt and she decides to tag along with him, and that's how she gets to the end.
I think she could be in a scene with like nobody we know, just like a random scene with
Cold
like
open?
hunters or like maybe a cold. But then I don't know how to get her to meet him eventually,
What would she do
and then
by herself?
like go
though?
immediately back to the Two Rivers with him. Like, why?
Yeah, this is tough. It wouldn't make sense with the girl. Yeah, it would have to be like Matt, I would guess, right?
I wish I knew like what the ending of the show was and where everybody was gonna like.
Bomb. They're
What's
gonna be
the
a bomb.
end? I know, but then like what? Like what what's what like the
Sean
end of Dragon Reborn is like everybody's in the stone and they're like regrouping and figuring what the like what's the end? What's the very end? Not like the big battle, not the big fight. Like how do they what's
What
the next
happens
move
after the big
from
fight?
there? Yeah, like
I-
what
I-
like how do
Do you
we
think it's like
I
they
don't
get
know.
to the point where like you're already up to the part where Rand's like, I have to go to the waste? Like that's how it ends. He says, it's like, where are we gonna go next, Rand? And it's like, to the Isle Waste. And then it cuts.
And he
No,
just like travels completely across the world from via Portal
I
Stone.
think
And then they start the next
if you
season
do
and they're
any
already in
kind
the
of like
waste.
end of book tease for the main storyline, it is revealing that in Falm, that's where the red frame doorway is, and that's how you kind of just leave that.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I do think that you start season 3. This is the only way that you really get Rand and Elaine to have any sort of like relationship, because they haven't even met already. Is the metropolitan city of Falm has a lot of politics that she has to help him navigate because he's the ruler of that city now,
And Tom's not
right?
there.
Like, right. And so that's how like she helps him with all that. They form a relationship, and then like the red frame doorway is season 3, right? But I think you can kind of leave off like a tease of like we're staying here and regrouping here for a while, and then you find out that there's this thing, like Maureen's like, oh, there's a secret whatever.
Mhm.
Everywhere we go, underneath the stone, there's a secret magical item.
Let's go. If they did, I would actually be very. It's so ridiculous at this point that I would be very excited if there was like a secret a secret powerful
The word for
item
door is underneath this throne.
on the each
Yes,
of these different
yeah.
thrones around the continent.
It's just always Guy Roberts pulling it up
He
too.
just goes. He's just always there.
I know exactly where it is. Just starts digging and pulling up rocks.
Uno, you've been carrying that sledgehammer this whole time?
Yes, and this 10-foot ladder.
Um, she could be in Tanchico. Who else is with them in Tanchico?
Well, they're not in Tanchico this season.
No, I'm talking about in season 3 though. I'm trying to think
No,
how
she has to be with Perrin in season.
Oh, that's right. She would have to be with
Season-
Parrot in season 3.
Yeah, like something has. I can't imagine him meeting her. There has to be a reason she follows him to the Two Rivers, and then like that is where they're. I don't think they get married, and maybe they don't get married until like the beginning of season 4 or something. Like if she just meets him at the beginning of season 3 and she follows him to the Two Rivers, and that's where their relationship grows, and then the battle, and then maybe they get married after the battle or something, like at the end of the season.
That would give him something to do for the whole, Fires of Heaven adaptation report that he's not really in.
Yeah, what are they gonna do about that?
Well, if they were gonna bring her in,
Give him a
season,
story.
if they were gonna bring her in season 3, they could bring her in directly into the Two Rivers. He goes back. She's a hunter for the horn that was passing through. Like maybe he rescues her. Maybe he encounters her on the way back, like fighting Trollocs or getting ambushed by Trollocs, and he helps her or whatever. Or
she heard about the old blood of Manetheren and she wanted to come see.
She wanted some of that old blood.
He
Yeah.
knows there's poor
Oh,
Tavir in
yeah.
there.
Yeah, she heard this. She heard.
She heard that same rumor that Moraine heard.
Yeah. Oh.
And they do it just that way. But if she's coming in season 2, that's definitely not the case. That would have been my way. Like if you really want to cut it down and just get to Faile and Perrin, like that's how I would have done it.
Right.
I would love if she's like with a bunch of other hunters. Is she traveling with those two like annoying guys who say they killed like a bunch of Aiel, but they only killed one? Is she traveling with them?
No.
They're just like
that's after he
aren't
meets
they also
her.
hunters?
Yeah,
No, that's the time because they kill whoever was with Gaul, and then
she
Perrin
meets
frees
them
Gaul.
before that.
No, that's what she sees him killing the White Cloaks. That's why. Remember,
I thought they met
she's
before
watching
that.
him. I don't think so. She's watching him, and then he kills the White Cloaks with Gaul, and then he sees her, and then he tells Lan like, "Oh, she saw him," but I can't. But
That was,
and that's why they have to leave, I think, and then she like jumps on the boat with them, right?
I thought they had
Yeah.
met before that. Like they had met prior to that whole thing happening, though.
I think he sees her looking at him, and he's all uncomfortable, and Moraine's like, "Sometimes girls look at men, it's not not everybody's a dark friend."
That's when they meet her in the town.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just okay. Someone Amis in chat is saying they were just men who lived in the town. I'm not sure if I thought they were hunters too, but I could be wrong about that. But
There was like some lord or whatever, some like
yeah, and they said they killed like a
low-life
bunch of
lord.
Aiel, and it was like one,
it was
'cause they-
the one, and then Gaul was the other one, right?
right?
They
And
captured
Gaul, they killed like a bunch of their guys
Yeah.
before they even got him. Okay. Why was I even talking about that? Oh, I was gonna say if like she's like in a town with a bunch of hunters, and like he's coming through somehow with like
Matt. Okay.
no, the Borderlanders, the Shinarans,
Okay.
but then they like don't meet each other. They just like pass each other in the street.
I don't know if they would bring someone in.
He
just
like
to
looks at
pass
her, she
by
looks at him,
in
and
the
then it
street.
just like I don't know. No, and then she'll be in next season.
She's here.
Yeah.
I believe.
He just thought Marcus just thought she was like an extra. He didn't even pick up on it.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
What if she, right? Tom's not in this season, so what if she and Matt hook up together?
I don't like that. No. I'm
Like, 'cause
sorry.
Matt's got nobody, right? He's going to be traveling by
He's got
himself,
nobody.
or unless we think we think he catches up with Rand, right? In Carienne?
Matt?
Yeah.
No.
Right, because didn't we talk about Donald Donald was talking
Oh,
about
that
the
he
Carienne
saw
set.
the set.
Yeah. So we think possibly he goes to Carienne?
I still like Matt and Min. I kind of like the idea of like
That's true, right? We said 'cause Min's
Avienda's with
probably-
Perrin and Min's with Matt, and then
Yeah,
Rand
because
is
we
with
think
like all the
Oh,
girls
and
like
and
separate,
Elaine's with Egwene,
and then Rand, right?
Rand's
I don't know.
Rand's
It's
like,
like,
oh, you have all new friends? I'm
yeah,
gonna
hey,
ball
meet
all of them.
her. All your friends are hot.
This is great. You guys
yeah.
should go away more often.
Matt
Yeah,
and
'cause
Perrin
we
are like,
think-
what just happened?
I think
We
I'm
just met these
predicting Min goes
girls
back
and-
to Tarvalon, so that would make
Right,
sense.
that's where Matt's gonna be, right?
But
And
I
we
thought
thought that they were
she's going to stay in Tarvalon, though. I think she's going to be in Tarvalon for when the tower splits, because she's going to be.
You're talking about season 3.
Yeah, so I think Min's going to be staying. If she goes
Moiraine's
to
just like,
Tarvalon,
go back to Tarvalon.
well,
turns
she
around and
could.
goes
If she
back.
goes to Tarvalon, she can go with the girls to the Shanchen, right? To Falm. Yeah.
Oh
She would-
yeah.
So she wouldn't
Do
stay
we
with
need
Matt.
her to do that though? Not
You get-
really.
I like those.
You could do something where like somebody, like one of the answers that somebody gets in the red frame doorway says like Min has to go back to the tower, or the light will lose or whatever, and that's
think-
how Swanley.
I
It's
think
out.
Min's going. I think Min's going to go with them to Falm, and I think
Yes.
maybe Matt meets Faile.
I
Otherwise,
just
he's by himself.
I don't even want to see them together. It doesn't appeal to me at all.
Otherwise, he's by himself. Who's he gonna be with?
But let's find out when we watch
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah, let's.
Let's.
Come
He's
on.
with Gowan.
Come on,
Gowan.
Prime Video.
Come on.
He's hanging out with them.
Yeah, he's fighting with
Having
them.
a sausage party.
Him and Elsa Trio.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sally Saleh.
You can kill her off too. Oh no, you can't. She's Nicola. But
You can still kill her off.
Sally.
say it too.
All right, so we're gonna play another game, pretending that this is true.
Every
Right?
time.
We just went through like almost 30 unconfirmed actors and made our guesses. None of them were guessed Faile because we did not believe she was going to be in season 2. So looking back at those guesses, are there any actors in here that you think could possibly be Faile?
I'll go first because I think in that exercise there was one actress I said like if we thought Faile was in season 2, I would say that this actress is playing her. But so I'll go back to that. That's Natasha Jayahendri, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I think that she's got the look. And the,
He's got the look.
I knew that was coming.
You know what I want to see about her?
Yeah, Tom. Yeah, I had 3 people that I pulled out that I think could possibly be Faile, and I'm starting to remember this one was a lot older than we thought originally because the picture she had was a younger picture. So I'm gonna cross her off.
Do they think that she's in it because it says major new streaming series character to be announced?
Yes.
I was trying to see if she had like fight training. Stage combat.
Well, because according to the Redanian intelligence, that they like basically confirmed it and said that she had already finished filming her part. Don't forget that we're talking about Natasha J. Henry. Redanian intelligence had reported that she had already finished filming her part in November of 2021.
well, again, that could go back to the idea
That would have been
of,
what, like block 2?
like, hey, I beat you early. You're just a person. And then maybe, that's it. And then all of a sudden she comes back.
But why bring
Right.
why introduce her at this time if you're just gonna do that?
I don't know.
They introduced Tom in season 1.
Yeah, that's true.
I think because Rafe thought the fans would riot if he didn't.
I don't think that's why. He made enough changes.
I think he's got plans for Tom, but Tom is a
Right, and
big
they
part
can do the
in.
same thing. One
But
of
Tom
the,
also
the
played a
coolest
bigger.
thing-
Tom didn't just come in for a scene and leave. He was in
No.
2 episodes and he had a decent role in them. It was an important character in those episodes.
So she could have important part. She have a part in an episode that, again, like maybe everyone didn't tell him or just thought that he knew because he lied and said he read the books.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe she's going by her first fake name, Mandar. Like that's the horse's name. One of the best jokes in the whole series. But anyway,
I agree with you though. Natasha J. Henry would be my guess too.
I think she's got to look for it. That's what. Jen, you have any other ideas?
Although the eyes, I pictured more of, I pictured different eyes. That's all I'll say.
She's not how I picture Faile looking at all.
She is a little bit actually, except
I
for the
think
eyes.
she is.
I think the eyes are the one thing that I'd say that are. Otherwise, I think her features are similar to how I pictured Faile. I pictured Faile as having more like slanted, kind of like Persian-looking eyes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody else is as good of a guess as this. I think this is, of the people that we have on the list, I think this is probably the number one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how old she is.
Yeah,
but
I
I
don't think
can't.
it says. They never tell you. There's some more information too in the video that John was talking about. He was saying that a large portion of season 3 and of Perrin's storyline, at least, will center around the battle for Two Rivers, and the events surrounding it. So, which we were just kind of talking about that. And then something really interesting was that at this point, Perrin's going to be wearing the yellow contacts permanently, basically. So he'll have the yellow eyes by this point. I could see it happening at the end of this season. But I don't know. We'll see. How many... All right, quick. What's the over or under of times you'll see Perrin with yellow eyes in season 2?
Season 2?
Yeah. Over or under 2 times?
Oh. Well over.
Over.
Yeah. I think he gets his yellow eyes fully yellowed by episode 5 or 6.
Okay.
Right here, right? My theory of the show is, we said this a bunch of times, I'm just going to go over quickly, is that Elias is Hopper, right? They're going to be the same person, like the same character.
Mm-hmm.
Elias going to die early part, probably in either the White Cloak attack or the Shanshan attack on these troops. And then Hopper is going to continue on as character with that guy doing the voice for him throughout the remainder of the series. If he is talking to Hopper in the Wolf Dream, he has yellow eyes. And then that's it. Full embraced.
I didn't even think about that until around reality.
So I think that will happen probably at Elias's death and never go back.
Okay.
Again, with my theory being that this right.
He also mentioned that filming for season 3 will be happening within the next 2 months, which, again, Tom, that was your guess, around April. So I don't think anything super surprising there, at least. And then one thing that was really interesting, and I was kind of happy to hear this, and out of all these things that he talked about in the video, I hope this is the one that's actually true. If there was one thing that had to be true in this video, I would pick it to be this next thing. And that, which is that the CGI for season 2 is much better than season 1, that they actually had more time and to spend on it.
Well, they're spending a hell of a lot of time.
Yeah, definitely has. If it wasn't better, it would be confusing as to why. It almost has to be.
Yeah. So I would ask you the question that I just kind of answered myself. Out of all the things we just talked about in this video, if only one of these was true, which one would you want it to be?
The CGI one.
Okay.
Like,
Tom?
That's a definite.
If only one of those things were true, it would be that the battle for the Two Rivers is a focal point of season 3.
No.
Only
Which
one of those
do
things
you
has
want
to be true.
to be true, not what you think is going to be true.
No, I'm telling. That's what I want. If they don't do that in season 3, then they don't do it. And
No,
like, what
I
do you
agree
do?
with you. I agree with you
So
100%.
that's where with by your rules that only one thing be true, I will take the same level of CGI as season 1 to get that essential storyline element in season 3 of the show.
That's a good point. No, it just says a large
So,
portion. It doesn't say. It just says a large portion of season 3 will center around that. So,
right, it's
so
not the
it not
whole
being
thing.
true doesn't mean it's not going to be in there. It's just that it won't be a large portion of the season.
It's Perrin's best. It's the best thing that happens to Perrin until like what, book 11,
God.
Yeah,
right? That's when
yeah,
that's
maybe.
when Malden is resolved, right?
The Knife of Dreams.
Right? Or is it yeah, it's Night for Dreams, right?
Yeah,
It's not the Gathering Storm.
yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
Robert
He does
Jordan
some
got to
cool
at
things in
least
the
die
6th book.
wrapping
Don't
up
get me
that
wrong.
story. I think Jordan was like, "I'm not dying till I wrap up Perrin's
Yeah, it's it.
story."
Um,
Oh
Or
my
Perrin
God.
gets Faile back.
the the Perrin's, like, we've talked about this a little bit, but just because we're on it now, like, Perrin's storyline adaptations in the show are going to be so interesting to me because I think people are gonna love him so much more because his storyline drags out because other things are happening that are just gonna get cut and condensed. So his
Yes, that's
storyline
true.
will progress apace. That's gonna be like a season, not 3 seasons of the show, right?
Yeah, it's actually when you
That's
do
probably
rereads, it's not as bad because you're just
Mhm.
reading book after book. One, you're not waiting for another book to come out, expecting to see furthered story, and then you find out it's just other characters during the time. I think that was probably one of the big things that made it seem worse.
It's also like, it's a couple of books of him just
Yeah,
like moaning.
yeah,
Um,
and there's that.
like
Because and those 3 books come out over the course of like how many years though? So it's like it feels like
right.
it feels like that you've been reading about it for 5 years or so. Let's just say I don't remember the time frame, but it's only been 3 books. But it just feels so much longer because as much time has passed.
Like, I don't know how they're gonna do season 4, like what it's gonna be exactly, but you've got to figure there's at least a decent chance that that ends with Dumas Wells,
Yeah.
hmm
Holger
right?
is saying in chat that Perrin can concentrate on the Prophet, Dragonsworn storyline, the White Cloaks,
Right. So you're talking about, if that's the
and
case,
Slayer.
season 5 is him going after the Prophet, ends with Faile being kidnapped. Season 6 is that storyline, right?
I wouldn't say you
And
would end with
then
Faile being kidnapped. You might want to kidnap Faile like earlier in the season, and then he rescues her at the end of the season.
yeah, no, I'm saying season 5 ends with her being kidnapped. Season 6 is that storyline and
Okay.
ends with her being rescued. And then you have 2 seasons for
Mhm.
the end. You might drag it out more. I don't know. She could be rescued, I guess, at the beginning of season 7. You can play with that a little bit, I guess.
All right. Whew. This is going to be interesting.
Really
We're
intense.
all naysaying though that Faile's going to be in season 2. We don't think this is true. Sorry, John. Or if it's true, the
I have
only
a
way it
hard
could
time.
be
I
true.
don't think I just have a hard time with it. It's a
I know. It can't. It has to be like we were saying though. If she's in
Yeah,
it, she doesn't even meet Perrin.
she can't. Doesn't make if she meets Perrin, we were all hoodwinked.
We
And
were hoodwinked,
I can't believe it.
and
I
we
don't think
could,
that they would have had that set up
and then
beforehand. 'Cause
Marcus could win an Emmy award
best
for
actor,
best acting off camera.
best Comic-Con acting. Yeah.
Yes, that's a category. All right. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
No.
All right. I talked about a giveaway at the beginning of the episode, so I'm going to talk about it now. We're going to be giving away some T-shirts. How many T-shirts should we give away? Two T-shirts? 3 T-shirts?
Sure.
3 T-shirts we're going to be giving away. How do you become eligible or enter to win a T-shirt? It's very simple. Go to our YouTube page and subscribe. That's all you have to do. I'll there'll be a link obviously in the show notes, which I think there always is. But you do that, and we'll run it for, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks or so. We'll announce it 2 shows from now, who the winner is. And all you have to do, it's very simple. Go to the YouTube page, click on the subscribe button.
Couldn't be easier.
Couldn't be easier.
Pretty simple. Yeah.
I'm even going to put a link in the show notes for you, so you don't even have to go search anything. You just click on the link, click the subscribe button, and you're done. Oh, maybe watch some of the videos there too.
Just have to move your finger like 2 times,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Or you can maybe, talk to your phone, like Siri can do it for you or something like that.
Does that work?
I don't know. Siri, subscribe to Talk Around Riyadh podcast on YouTube.
Hey Google, subscribe to the Talk Around Riyadh podcast on YouTube.
Yeah. You don't even have to do anything. Just put your phone on speaker while you're listening to the podcast, and then when we say that, your phone
Yes.
will do it.
Well, that's the idea. Yeah.
Did I tell you that happened to me in my car when we were doing like Siri stuff? I was listening to the podcast, and in the radio it said it was me saying "Hey Siri," and my phone lit up. I was like, no, it's okay. It's okay.
It's machines talking to machines.
Yes.
No, we're done. We're doomed.
It's over.
I want to remind everyone to follow us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Join us over in Discord to continue the conversation there. And rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our merchandise and Patreon pages to support us that way. Links to all the aforementioned information will be included in the show notes to this episode. Jen, Tom, any last words?
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Oh, yeah, happy Valentine's
Oh,
Day.
happy Valentine's Day. Go Kansas City.
Go Chiefs!
That's right.
Thanks, everyone, for listening, and you'll hear us next time.